Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sports Department Podcast Wrestling Recap version, where myself, Stephen Clark, Justin Valentovic, and Jesse Norman are here to recap WrestleMania 37, Night 1 and Night 2. It was a long week, a long WrestleMania week, and a long weekend indeed. 2 nights of WrestleMania is a lot, but we got through it. We're here. We're done. We're in the new season of WWE now. That's usually what happens after WrestleMania, a new season. So we're going to break down WrestleMania in this episode and maybe towards the end a little bit, get some way too early SummerSlam predictions just for fun, just to have a little fun at the end. Because a lot of shockers happen at Mania. We'll see if these guys keep their belts until SummerSlam. But anyways, before we get into that stuff, fellas, how you guys doing today?
Very good. You know, WrestleMania week basically kind of flew by for us. We're getting ready to get back to normal sports, but the show, one of the better WrestleManias, you know, both nights, obviously. One night was better than the other. I'm sure we'll get into that. But as a whole, I enjoyed the show.
Nice.
Thank God Bianca and Sasha main evented. That's all I asked for. It's all I could have asked for. I've been saying it for months. They did it. Thank God.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a great thing that they did that. We'll get to that right at the end of night one. But let's get into the scoring first for night one before we get into scoring for night two. We're separated into two different ones, ratings for two different shows.
About that. I was talking about our picks. Never mind.
Oh yeah, the picks. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. We're getting into the picks first, and Justin and I tied. That I never thought I'd say that. We tied.
I didn't lose. That's all that matters.
But
I didn't
Jesse wanted to implement this tiebreaker thing where we predict the first match. If we predict the first match on the card, who it is, then they get the tiebreaker. So Justin and I tied. I predicted Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre were to be the first match on the card. So technically,
what did I say was the first match?
You said it would be Cesaro and Seth Rollins, which isn't a bad pick still.
Wasn't that like
that would have been a cool opener.
Wasn't that like the second match?
It could be
second or third.
It could be, but it doesn't matter.
Damn.
It doesn't matter. And Jesse also had Banks and Belair, which was a safe pick because we didn't know at the time what was going to be the main event. But I won. So the score as of after night one before night two was Jesse with 6, me with 4, Justin with 1. So let's get into night one now. What actually matters? None of that actually matters. We started off with actually, before we get into the crappy host for the show, a very sentimental moment happened on the stage with Vince McMahon out there and all the superstars on the stage. And I know we're a little kind of too young for the 9/11 moment in WWE when they had the first live show after the attacks on the Twin Towers, but this was sort of our 9/11 moment, I felt like. I mean, it's very similar, like the pandemic compared to the terrorist attacks. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you could just kind of see how everyone was very emotional that people were back. You know, they kind of panned over everybody. Obviously, Roman kept up the stone cold face.
In the front
row.
No
emotion. Yeah, you know, he was front and center, looked like a mob boss. But, you know, everyone was clapping. Everyone had a tear. You kind of see, like, when they came out, everyone would kind of take a second and break character a little bit and, like, just kind of take it in. Like, Randy Orton especially, he sticks out the most. And just everybody drew.
Rhea was emotional.
Yeah, she was on the stage tearing up a little bit too.
Yeah,
and they did America the Beautiful rather than National Anthem, which, you know, is just different because America the Beautiful is about the whole country rather than a battle in Baltimore. But, well, that's subject matter. But it just kind of, it means more. That's America the Beautiful kind of. It's more symbolic, I guess.
Yeah, no. I agree, and it was a great way to start WrestleMania. I'd be lying if I didn't get a little teary-eyed during that too, because it's been a rough year for all of us. It really has. Like, this pandemic changed our lives for the worse in a way. I hate to say it, but it did change our lives for the worst. I mean, our graduation got postponed to Justin. The job market's been horrible.
That wasn't because of the pandemic, but it didn't help.
Yeah, it didn't help. Things shut down. We were trapped in our houses for months. And on the sports side of things, the fans, the biggest part of wrestling in general, or the WWE universe, weren't allowed to go to shows for 14 months now. And just seeing everybody back, a little bit of normalcy back in this world just felt very, very nice, which it does bring out the emotions in the best of us. So I thought that was a phenomenal way to start the show. Video package was basically similar to last year, whatever. And then we get into the host and the fake cheers they implemented for Hulk Hogan, which I don't really want to stay on this too long, but
he needs to go away.
He needs to go away. He needs to go.
He's not going away.
No, he's not.
Trust me. Nobody Nobody hates Hulk more than I do. I absolutely can't stand the guy. I've hated him for
he's
so
nothing
long.
to our generation, if we're being honest. Like
Not even that. He actively takes away is my thing. Like even when he came back with the Mr. America gimmick, and then he did the one-off with Shawn where he flexed all his political power even though he literally was barely in the company at that point. He is so detrimental to the company at this point. And not even talking about, the off the ring antics that he's gotten involved in that should automatically isolate him from majority of the locker room. They just like their thing for Hulk was that after all the stuff came out, they kind of just didn't address him for a year or two. And then we're like, nah, he did his time. He's fine.
Yeah, they did the right thing at first, taking him out of the Hall of Fame and kind of like, Chris Benoit him almost in a way, which was fine.
They did it for like a year, which I feel like you could even argue they might have done that more for the TNA run than anything.
Yeah.
But
because I mean, he was in TNA for like 3 years.
We don't need hosts of WrestleMania.
No,
like there is no point.
Once a night and dress up in a stupid pirate costume.
We saw
night.
Bailey more than them,
which
Bailey
was
would
better.
Have been a perfect toast.
Yeah,
Bailey would have been a perfect toast. Nothing with Titus.
You know what wasn't fake? The Bailey chants that happened. Those were real chants.
Those were real.
Unlike the Hogan ones.
The fake cheers for Hogan, and you can tell by the look on Titus's face too. He was not too happy about.
Especially they come out in night 2 looking like idiots in pirate costumes, so that just made it even worse.
Yeah, but that's enough Hogan talk for this podcast. I don't want to bring
any Hogan talk is enough Hogan talk.
There you go. Let's get into the first match of the night, which was Bobby Lashley defending his title against Drew. There was a little weather delay before this because,
ironically, about 37 minutes.
Haha, look at that.
Rough estimate time. So that's cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll shut up. First weather delay in Mania history, so that's something in the record books. But anyways, we started the night with Bobby Lashley defending his title against Drew McIntyre, and kind of shockingly, well, none of us predicted it all right, but Bobby Lashley is not a transitional champion. He kept the title and made Drew McIntyre pass out in the middle of the ring, clean, no help from MVP, no help from anybody else. Just made Drew McIntyre pass out, and I'm all for it. I'm 100% all for it.
The fact that they had him win clean, basically, in the dominating way that he did, rather than just getting out with the win and MVP getting involved, shows that they want to be a little more invested than we thought they were going to be with Bobby.
Yeah, no, good. I felt like we were all kind of under the assumption that this was just their way to give it back to Drew again. And I'm very happy that it's not, because Bobby's been fantastic in this role. I don't think there's any other way to put it. My one problem, I thought the Hurt Business broke up and then MVP was with him. Is it just that Shelton and Cedric are out of it?
Yeah, they dumped them
because they kind of, ever since they lost the titles and then they lost a 2-on-1 handicap match to Drew. Bobby's like, yeah, you guys are holding me back. You guys aren't getting the job done. You guys aren't making them weak for Mania. So they kind of just dumped them and stuck with MVP and Bob. So, and they got demoted to losing in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on Friday Night SmackDown. But hey, cool. Great way to start. A great shocker in a way. I know a couple of my friends predicted Lashley to retain, and I'm like, you're idiots. But we were the real idiots in that situation. But hey, I'm for this. I'm excited to see what they do with the nice, lengthy, hopefully, run with Lashley as champ. So exciting stuff there. But let's move right now into a lot less exciting stuff. And it was the number 1 contender women's tag team turmoil match to determine who would face Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Night 2 of WrestleMania. And shockingly, in a while, I'm going to say it again, another shocker in the show. The 2 old vets get the job done, beating all the other makeshift teams and the Riot Squad, which were Natalya and Tamina. Nobody's meaner than Tamina, baby. And she got her nice little WrestleMania moment there.
Yeah.
Riot Squad should have won. They really should have won.
Yeah.
Considering they're the only actual tag team. especially since they were going to go on.
Considering they also had the best run in the tag team match.
And the fact that they lost the next night, spoiler alert, this was clearly then just purposely filler.
Yeah.
Like there was
sure.
There's no reason for this match.
I have a problem with Tamina doing the Superfly splash. Yeah. She's paying homage to her father, Jimmy Snuka, who is a murderer.
See, yes, he is a murderer, but at the end of the day, before that, it's her father. It's her father.
But and that's cool and everything. And I'd feel differently if maybe it was called a different move, or maybe it was like a different thing, but they are clearly referencing it to that. That's like if somebody put on a crippler crossface.
They called it
like Benoit's son calling it the crippler crossface. They call it the Superfly splash.
It should be a different name, I agree, but I don't have a problem with it. If it was another wrestler doing the move, I would have a problem with it, but it's blood. It's literally his daughter, so
he spilled a lot of blood himself.
He did. But I don't have a problem with it.
That's just my personal opinion. It just watching it just feels wrong to me. I don't like it, especially when I feel like they could give her easily. Just give her the Samoan drop as a finisher or something like. No, never mind. She only does 2 moves, and the Samoan drop is one of them. So you can't take that out.
But hey, let's just get into night 2 then with that match, just to get that one out of the way too. So Shayna and Nia defended against Natalya and Tamina, and they retained. That's it.
I don't care.
That's your girl, though. That's your girl,
Shayna
Nia. Big King
out.
Kong over there, Justin. She's King Kong.
Oh my God. Nia screamed the B word.
Yes.
Multiple.
Into the mic.
And
multiple times.
Also got caught.
Yeah.
So that's good.
What does she have? Like, what does she have on the company?
Something. She has to have something.
It's gotta be she's related to The Rock, right? It's something like that, isn't it? Yeah, okay. It's gotta be that, I guess.
She's safe.
My God, she literally can hurt people, get caught on the mic, just screaming expletives, and they're like, yeah, no, tag team champ. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
It up.
There's no reason for her. I just don't care about this match.
Yeah,
I'm glad at least with this run, Shayna seems to consistently always be the one to finish the matches.
Yeah,
which is cool, but like also,
it's just
I really need this team to break up so Shayna can tap her out and then move back. Because I want a Rhea Shayna match. I don't.
That'd be so good.
I don't. Yeah, I'm tired of Shayna being in the tag team division. She is too good to be in the tag team division. That, by the way, doesn't actually exist because it's only the Riot Squad is like the only actual tag team.
Yeah, no, I agree. No more time spent on this match except for Mandy Rose falling. But hey, what are you gonna do? It happened. It was wet and slippery.
It had to have happened. That stage was slippery.
Like people giving her crap for that online are just low life losers.
I need to say this. It is so weird how they made Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke look exactly alike, like they were twins.
Yeah, it's awkward.
They go back a year. They look incredibly different. They look super different. And then now you look at them and you're like, what are they doing?
Bell Twins 2.0, am I right, Justin?
It's unsettling. It's very weird.
It is weird, but honestly, if they're gonna keep him in a tag team,
it makes sense then.
Works for me. That works for me.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, what
are we doing?
They look very different. Like they look very. What did they do to Dana Brooke's face? Like she had like a different face. I think this is our third Dana Brooke.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Did they sub out Dana Brooke again?
Dana Brooke. Oh, she's back. Or is this like the first one back now? I don't know.
Who knows?
Oh my God, how many Dana Brooks do we have?
More than we know, probably.
It's like the conspiracy of like how Paul McCartney died, so they got a replacement.
Yeah. There's multiple Dana Brooks. This has been a topic on No Rest Holds before. There's multiple Dana Brooks. Let's continue into the card of night 1. And from here on out, it was honestly just kept going up and getting better and better. It started good with the first match, took a slight little dip.
But what goes up must come down.
You're right. And that's night 2, but we're not there yet. But first we got to Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins had the little like Obama type gear with like the hope thing on the side. I thought that was cool because that's kind of like the role he's portraying now. Like it's a mix of like all of his characters from the past in a
I think
way.
he was just drunk last night or Saturday because he was very just loud, energetic, and
Could have been.
boy, when he
That-
especially when they went to the terrible backstage interviews to kill time because they had nothing planned for a rain delay. I was looking, I'm like
He kept calling him Mark.
I'm like he's got to be on something.
Hey, fatherhood is tough, Justin.
He doesn't know.
He's
He's not there. Becky had that kid, and he was like, "All right, cool." Vince said
You got this.
Vince said he needs me to come in second in the Rumble.
Oh man.
Any excuse.
But this match was good. This match was
Oh,
very, very good.
very
It's probably
good.
the best wrestling match.
Yeah.
Of like not
Yeah.
the best match, but the best wrestling match
Like
of the whole
not the
of like in ring like skill.
Yes, no, I agree. Two guys, two indie darlings, as they say. Two guys who actually went completely separate career paths after. Seth went straight to the top, while Cesaro just kind of like floated around for a little bit. But Cesaro got his moment finally at WrestleMania, a one-on-one singles match. And this match wouldn't have happened if it was 2 nights. I'll say it right now. Probably
No.
wouldn't have happened. But Cesaro getting the win is huge. Are they going to do anything with this?
No.
Probably not. But like you said, Justin, great match. Probably it's close for match of the night. There were too many good matches to pick a match of the night, but this is up there. This is
Now,
up there.
my question is, when they do WrestleMania Backlash, which is the official name of Backlash now.
Yeah.
Does
Steve
Seth-
told me that today.
Yeah,
Yep.
he didn't know, Justin. I was like, yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was just
Yep,
Backlash.
they're just just WrestleMania
WrestleMania Backlash. Getting all the rematches, baby.
So is Seth, are they gonna do this again and Seth just get his win back? Because
Yes.
that'd be kind of funny.
I wouldn't
That'd
be
be kind of
surprised.
hilarious.
Wouldn't be surprised. It's literally going to be every single match is probably
It's gonna
a
be
rematch.
it's gonna be the Mania card, yeah. Except maybe they'll cut out the middlemen. Like they won't do Braun Shane.
Thank
No.
God.
They probably won't do. They probably won't
Obviously,
do
Bad
They won't
Bunny
do a
won't be there.
turmoil.
Bad
Yeah,
Bunny won't be
they'll
there.
cut
Fiend
out.
Randy.
Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Might do Fiend
Maybe.
Randy again.
No, they might have.
Well, we have a lot to talk about that in night 2, so stay tuned for that one.
But I just think it's funny. WrestleMania Backlash.
WrestleMania oh my god! But no, great matches.
So shouldn't technically the season start the Monday after WrestleMania Backlash? New season.
Shut up.
Because if we're technically elongating this,
it's
I'm
kind
just
of
saying.
like
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Like, why would you start a new
philosophical
season
for me.
and then do 2 episodes of review? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's like I don't know, Jesse. I don't. You're gonna do philosophical for me. I don't know. Let's continue. We had the debut of Omos now teaming with AJ Styles, trying to get the Raw Tag Team titles from the New Day, and Omos was hilarious in this.
He was
match.
awesome.
He was awesome in his dress pants and his dress shoes and his tight
Considering his
compression shirt.
the only point of him being there was to obliterate the New Day. I dig it.
Yeah.
AJ having a belt with a monster heel who can literally do all of the fighting for him and he can just hide behind it. Give it to me. That'll be extremely entertaining. AJ's Grand Slam champion, so to be a TNA original, to be a Grand Slam champion, probably the greatest run to come over from non-WWE at that point now. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Definitely the modern era ish.
Yeah.
There's always Jericho back in the 90s coming over and Ric Flair coming over too. But definitely within the last 20 years, I would say, definitely AJ. Yeah, no, that was great. I really, really enjoyed this match a lot. Almost like we said, is hilarious. He's fantastic in this role. And obviously, New Day can afford a loss, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah. There was a point in time, Omos, I think it was Xavier had AJ in a headlock, and he was like halfway across the ring, and AJ was trying to tag him in, but Omos wouldn't lean in for the tag.
Yeah.
If he just leaned, he would have had it. And I was literally sitting there like, why isn't he leaning? He's just standing straight like, yep, you gotta hit me. Just straight on. I can't lean. I can't bend my knees. It was funny. And then he finally got in, and then AJ does the forearm off his shoulders. That was sweet.
That was cool. That was sweet. That was very sweet. No other takeaways from this except for Big E kind of did his old New Day thing for the New Day, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was nice to see that little reunion for that.
Yeah, but otherwise, no, I'm excited. New Raw Tag Team Champions, a little switch up in the tag division. I'm excited because AJ is kind of course, he's older. He's on his way out, so he's kind of, just doing all the other stuff he has to do in the way to, get all those credibility things that everybody else has. So that was cool. I was with that. And now this match. Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon, Steel Cage, the match we've been crapping on for a couple of months now, ever since this feud started. I will admit the feud, horrible. The feud was surrounded by the build of this was on Shane calling Braun
an idiot. Yeah.
Stupid. Straight up stupid. But I will admit.
If that was the case, Jesse and I would have so many matches.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just being verbally abused.
Yeah. Braun said this match is dedicated to all the people who were called stupid. I was like, Justin, this match is dedicated to you.
Thank you for that.
But anyway, hey, I didn't say you were stupid. I said being called stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe you are stupid though.
I definitely am.
But anyways, this match, I'll admit I was wrong. It exceeded expectations. You can't go wrong with a Shane McMahon match. Shane, once again, just like Roman back in the old days, carried Braun Strowman to a great match. Couple good spots. Shane McMahon waving bye-bye to Braun, and Braun grabbing him through with a cage, ripping the cage, then eventually throwing him off the top because Shane's a nut at 51 years old, jumping off high structures like that.
He does not care.
No, he's still trying to get his father's love, which is sad, but that's the truth probably. But hey, I enjoyed this. I honestly enjoyed this. I can't complain.
Yeah, the Braun ripping the cage apart to get Shane back in, I credit it for being different. So that was creative.
Cool. Yeah.
I thought Shane was going to die, considering he did a whole front flip off the cage, landing on the mat. It's not like, because at least when he jumped off the cell against Taker way back when, all 5 years ago, there was a very clear crash mat under the announce table.
Yeah.
This didn't have that.
That was the straight ring right there. Like the wood with slight padding underneath it.
And it was straight up on his back too.
Yeah. Like no one caught him. Yeah. Like it wasn't like a Rey Mysterio dive off the cage or whatever, or Io Shirai.
Yeah, no, he didn't have it. No one broke his fall. It was just straight up him and his back and his spine.
That did hurt.
And then he took a power slam.
No, then he took a power slam. You're right.
Yeah,
I can't complain.
He took a power slam. It was a cool match. As much as I hated it, I knew the match was going to be at least semi-decent because Shane is a perfect person to work with Braun.
Because he can get thrown around no problem.
This kind of creates this is kind of the Braun conundrum at this point now, though, where it's like, okay, where does he go now? Because, like, what do you do with Braun?
Yeah.
Because it's like he's this monster, but you don't want him anywhere near the belt. You don't want him anywhere.
You just need someone else to insult him.
Yeah,
somebody else to call him stupid.
Honestly,
this is for everybody that's ever been called stupid before.
Throw him in the mid-card photo, mid-card picture, same thing, picture photo. What am I talking about?
They're interchangeable.
They're the same thing, but mid-card somewhere. I don't want to see him towards. He'll probably be in a feud with Lashley, though. I can honestly see that, a little one-off Lashley and Braun, and that'll make Lashley honestly look kind of strong too in a way. So doesn't hurt Lashley as long as he doesn't lose the title. But that's what I see at this moment. Shane will come back.
Throw him in the tag division alone again. And almost destroy.
Hey, him and almost. Hey, yeah, you got something there.
Perhaps.
That's like Kane and Khali all over again. 2 Hall of Famers right there.
Oof.
But anyways, exceeded expectations. Great match. But speaking of exceeding expectations, on to the next match. We had Bad Bunny and Damian Priest defeating The Miz and John Morrison. Let's start from the beginning of everything, though. We start off with a bunch of bunnies in bunny costumes hopping around the ring. One of them lost their ear, so that was kind of funny. And
how does that happen? I thought they were like attached to the actual thing.
I guess the thread must have gotten loose somehow. I don't know.
Clark
that was
Master
hilarious.
It must have not been quality.
Yeah,
not quality bunny suits, I guess.
No, well, it wasn't the Adam Rose bunny suit from couple years back, but that was hilarious. And Miz and Morrison performing "Hey Hey Hop
Ho ho.
Hop
Oh yeah.
Hop Hop."
Hop, not ho ho.
No, hop hop for the bunnies. That was funny. Funny stuff. And Priest had a cool entrance. Bad Bunny came in on the truck. But you can just tell from like Bad Bunny's entrance that he's a fan, a true lifelong fan. He loved being there and he proved it in the ring too. You can tell he's been training. The rumors were true. He's been training for months doing this and he showed out, 100% showed out, doing moves, like real wrestling moves.
Yeah, when Pat had his match, like, oh, he's an athlete, he cares, he at least respects WWE, it'll be a good match. Bad Bunny's obviously a musician, and we didn't know how it was going to go. We knew he was a fan, he's been a lifelong fan, so he'll at least give it the old college try and see what happens. This wasn't half-assed at all. It's clear he put in the work, he cares, he wanted to show that he's at least going to do his best and give it the respect it deserves. But also Miz and Morrison did a great job carrying him through the match as well and making him look even better, because they could have no-sold. They could have made him do, slightly harder spots potentially, or made it more difficult on him. They clearly, he must have earned their respect behind the scenes for them to do the job this way. So credit to all four of them. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I'm just very impressed of how seriously he took this, because you see that with a lot of celebrity matches like Snooki and Stephen Amell was okay, but a lot of them are just there for like hey, go check out what I have upcoming. I'll do a couple punches and kicks, and then they'll just leave. But props to Bad Bunny. And he got a little promo on the second night for his upcoming tour too. So it was kind of a little swishy. So yeah. Jesse, any words on this match, or ready to?
I think Pat's match was better, but performance-wise, Bad Bunny was more impressive, because, like you said, Pat is an athlete. Bad Bunny is a musician who came in and did a Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian Destroyer.
I mean, what else? He got worked the majority of the match.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, oh, he does his moves, he tags in Priest gets beaten up, Bunny, hops back in, does a move or two. No, he got beaten up the majority of the match. Priest, barely got in.
Yeah.
So, very impressive. His cardio that he went through for that, very, very impressive overall. He was fantastic.
No, you're right. A couple of the moves, like you said, it did a Canadian Destroyer, did a Falcon Arrow, a couple dives off the top rope, and just he was very good at selling too. Like his selling was on point. Like I guess it's kind of an easy thing to learn while getting into the business, faking being hurt, faking all that. But it does take a lot of skill, some acting skill too. So props to Bad Bunny, phenomenal match. I hope to see him back in another match eventually, but as of right now, he's going back on tour because he is the most streamed artist on Spotify last year. So he's very, very popular outside the wrestling world. So props to him, and thank you for respecting wrestling. That's a big thing right there. Main event time. Match we've been waiting for right here. We were excited when we found out this was being the main event, and it did deliver. Bianca Belair defeated Sasha Banks to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I'll say it now, if we have to compare both women's main events from ever of WrestleMania, this was a lot better than the triple threat from WrestleMania 35. They learned from their mistake of just, I feel like they put on a better performance in a way. Like you don't have to have the triple threat big names in it all the time. Just have your top two athletic women in the company put on a phenomenal show. And I loved Michael Cole at the start of the match, recognizing that, hey, this is two black women in the main event for the SmackDown Women's title. Great call by Michael Cole to include that. Don't know if that was on him to include that or by somebody backstage, but I'm glad they acknowledged that it's two black women in the main event.
I was gonna let Jesse go this time.
This match was, this match is fantastic. I mean, It was my match of the night.
Me too.
I literally would not have changed a thing. Maybe the only thing I would have changed is maybe have given Bianca a little bit longer celebration on the original stream, just because it cut
and
pretty quickly, but
and
it still continued on the after show.
Like, it would have been nice to see Montez Ford out there with her, because I don't think that was made it onto Peacock.
No, it didn't, which was bad.
Yeah, it
No,
did
I
not.
agree with you, Jesse. No, that should have been on, because usually when you get to the WrestleMania, the last match with the celebration, it usually ends with them on the ramp or close to the ramp.
Yeah.
It ended with her in the ring, and I was very, very shocked to see it cut that quick.
Yeah.
There's no time restrictions for Peacock. No, but no, continue with the match. I thought great match though. Very, very good match.
Yeah, the match itself was awesome.
I think they're at this point, Sasha and Bianca are probably the two best in-ring workers in the women's division on the main roster. You can maybe argue EO in NXT. You could have like a Bailey discussion or Charlotte, Becky, all those, but for me, these are really the top two, I think, in the division. With Asuka, probably being third and Rhea fourth, and they had their own match. But this was great, and again, so fantastic that it main evented. It needed to main event. It should have been the main event, and thank God that it did.
I completely agree. This match it lived up to it. I'm not saying it was the better of the two main events, but it's definitely one of the best main events we've had in WrestleMania, flat out.
I think I can probably say it is the best women's match that's
absolutely
ever been on a Mania. That's been on Mania, I think, in general.
I thought you were gonna stop at best women's match, and I was gonna.
Oh no! I think best women's match in Mania history wise, for me, definitely.
Within the last 5 years, have been the top, like say 5 top WrestleMania matches.
Yeah,
because they didn't care about the women up until.
Well, that's the thing; they didn't exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, fantastic match, fantastic moment. Even the moment at the beginning of the match with Bianca getting all emotional, because she knew like what all the barriers they had to overcome to get to that moment in general. Like women, if we would have looked at this 10 years ago, WrestleMania 27, 2 women in the main event, we would have said you're crazy. No women are main eventing WrestleMania ever.
Yeah.
But you fast forward to now and you see what they did, and it's very emotional. And good thing for Sasha Banks getting her veteran presence, getting her back in the moment of the match. Like, hey, we got a match to do, basically. Why you can save the tears for when we're done. And they put on a show. And even Sasha, they had the camera on her. There was a video on Twitter smiling at Bianca celebrating.
She knew what it meant.
Yeah, she knew what it meant, exactly. And it's history in the making right there. And she knew what it meant. And you can tell Sasha's a team player too. She didn't have to have that win.
Well, it's because they respect wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what it is. And this is just a massive stepping stone forward for women's wrestling. Maybe in a year or two, we might, if they continue with the 2 main event format, the 2-night format, which I hope they do, because it's a lot better. 3-night shows.
I'm gonna disagree with that.
Okay, but that's another podcast, maybe towards the end of this episode. But maybe we see them close out the show as a whole.
I like the 2 nights. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. No, I like. Yeah, they can close the show as a whole. That'd be great, because honestly, it's just Mania 35 that's closed one as a whole for the women. But no, this was great.
Which in reality is probably like maybe the 4th best women's match on Mania.
The moment was a lot better than the match. The match wasn't too high.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But the moment was phenomenal moment. Becky 2 belts, first women's main event. Moment was way better than the match. But we're going to take a quick break right there. When we come back, we're going to get into night 2, so don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. And before we get into night 2, we're separating our WrestleMania ratings into 2 separate nights, 2 separate shows in a way, if you will. So out of 10, I'm going to give WrestleMania Night 1, the one we just reviewed before the little break, I'm going to give it a 7.2.
Really? And that's your Night 1 rating?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 7.2.
I would give it about an 8, just because the tag team turmoil match served no purpose.
I don't know.
It served a purpose in getting people on the card and getting, women on, but as a whole, you could have done without the match.
Yeah. Jesse?
Yeah, I'm going probably 7.5.
Yeah.
Again, turmoil match, not that great. They took a lot of time with the host garbage, and that was such a waste of time.
Yes,
And
yes.
I have to assess that, even if it's not a match, that took up a lot of time for absolutely no reason, and it wasn't good.
We're rating it a 76 out of 100 then, which is good. That's pretty good.
Could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse. It's not our worst pay-per-view by far, but we are getting into night 2 right now. And did the host start this one too? Yeah, this is the pirate one. Yeah, we don't have to talk about that though. A lot of the stupid pirates. But we started off with none of us
pirate.
Predicted this, but for our opening match. But Jesse did win this pay-per-view. Back on track. The streak continues 1-0 now for Jesse moving forward. He has 7 after night 2. I have 4, and Justin still has 1. No ties, no nothing. So we didn't even have to use the tiebreakers. And now our total points, I can say now, after all of WrestleMania, all of TakeOver, our matches total points, which this is killing me because I'm not far off from Jesse. Meanwhile, I'm still 3 down from him in full pay-per-view thing.
You're closer than I am.
Yeah, I am.
So that's cool.
38 matches correct or points for Jesse. I have 34. I'm only 4 back, and I'm 3 pay-per-views behind, which is ridiculous. And Justin's at 27.
I'm a waste of space.
No, you're not. That's not nice.
For this, I am.
Okay, that's better. Oh no. You never know though. You never know what can happen. But anyways, let's get into the matches in night 2 of WrestleMania. And we start off with Orton and The Fiend. Orton came out in his fresh white new attire. I loved it. It looked clean. I think it kind of matched Edge's attire.
Looked super clean.
I think it matched Edge's attire for.
It kind of looked like that,
right? Maybe
well, Edge had the Canadian vibes going.
The white and the red.
Well, they're both white and red.
You're about to say they're both Canadian.
No, I'll say they're both white and red.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but Edge was doing it for Canadian themed. I don't know what.
Then what was Orton doing it for?
I don't know.
St. Louis Cardinals, maybe.
Sure.
From Missouri. So Orton came out looking clean, and then they go to the Fiend's entrance, and he was all burnt, and it slowly transitioned into full regeneration of full form back to normal Fiend, which I personally wasn't a big fan of this because you just brought back this new Fiend looking burnt guy, and all of a sudden he's back to normal out of nowhere. No explanation how. They could have just said Fiend used his magic to do it. I would have been a lot happier if they would have said that.
Or like Alexa Bliss did something.
There you go. But the Fiend mask looked a little different to me. Like,
it looked white. It looked too white.
Yeah.
You know, I know you're not versed in horror movies, but
no.
Like Michael Myers, the first 2 movies had the same mask. Then he wasn't in the 3rd one. And then the 4th one, they overcompensated for it. And it just looked too cartoonish and too pristine.
Which is how this one looked.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. No, it looked too white. It's like the nose maybe looked bigger too on it. I don't know. It just looked off to me. But anyways, it cuts to Alexa coming down to the.
I have my theory about this.
Oh, me too.
I think the Fiend. I think the burnt mask was scaring kids too much.
Oh,
I think it was. I think it was too scary. I honestly think it was too scary. And on an event like WrestleMania where families are watching, I think they wanted to get rid of it to at least a slightly less scary mask.
True. But no, that could be true. But it cut then to Alexa coming down to the ring with her big Jack in the Box at ringside, which was cool. And she wound it up and popped. Up came the Fiend, like pop, crap, whatever.
I was waiting for him to pop out like the Rey Mysterio entrance from like 2006. Yeah. Just a lot of fireworks and him go flying up in the air.
That would have been awesome.
It would have been, but it wasn't. So
but that was a cool moment. I thought that was phenomenal entrance. I did have a problem though with the box staying there the whole time. Like, granted, it did have a big part of the finish, but the people behind that couldn't see, and that's the first thing I thought of.
It was funny.
I don't know. I remember. What was it, 2 years ago, maybe, or 3 years ago? There was No, they had like refractors on one of the stages, and literally like a whole quarter of the stadium couldn't see for a vast portion while the sun went down. So this is nothing new or for WrestleMania, where just a good portion of fans miss out on stuff because of props.
Yeah, and so we had this match with the stupid red Fiend lighting back, which I was pissed about too. So two things I'm pissed about already for this match. And then we get to the actual match. And now we had about almost 24 hours. We're getting like 23 hours to dissect this and finally digest what happened in this match. And at first glance, when this happened, the Fiend and Randy Orton, it's a solid match for the most part. But then Alexa pops up out of the Jack in the Box thing, cross sitting with red. I mean, did Justin just dip out?
No, why?
Your picture dipped on my screen.
Oh, oops. Sorry.
Yeah. So Alexa was sitting crisscross applesauce with black goo running down her face. Kind of distracted the Fiend. Orton hits one RKO and 1, 2, 3. It's over. One RKO.
Deadliest move in the business.
At first, I never say this about wrestlers too often. I said, Fiend is buried. That was my first reaction to this. I was like, that is the official burial of the Fiend. Gone for 4 months, got literally burned alive at TLC. First match back, loses in a short amount of time to 1 RKO.
Yeah, it was a rough one, especially since they didn't really explain what the whole Alexa Bliss look. Why did my video do that again?
Justin, you're gone again.
I know. I'm right here. I'm here. Don't worry. They better explain. They're on Raw, technically, right?
Yes.
They better explain on Raw what the hell that all was. Was it her taking the Fiend's power? Was it her trying to assert herself more as it's the Fiend working for her rather than she was working for the Fiend originally way back when? You know, is it the magic wearing off and that's why she looked the way she was? I don't know. They better have some explaining to do, because otherwise this is stupid. It really is.
Yeah.
And now what does Randy go do? He killed the Fiend, so he beat the Fiend, so it's like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's beat the Fiend numerous times now.
At this point, Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania just do not work. Simple as that. Just don't book him at this rate.
Except for the Firefly Funhouse match.
Facts. You have a
That
point.
shit was
You have a
fire.
point.
Bray Wyatt live at WrestleMania does not work.
There you go. There you go.
Bray Wyatt against anybody that's not John Cena.
Yeah, Jesse, any predictions, takes on why, what?
What is my video?
Justin, you're gone again. I really don't know, and I really don't think we're gonna get an answer on Raw. I really don't. I seen a thing that somebody said maybe this leads to a Bray Wyatt Aleister Black feud. I laugh. They don't know who Aleister Black is. Stop bringing him up. They don't care about him. If this ends up in a Fiend Aleister Black feud, I'd love it. But let's stop acting like they have some big plan for Aleister Black, that they're just waiting to bring him back. They don't care about him. It's easier if you just forget about him. That's what I do. He was my favorite wrestler.
And they
but
just did nothing.
This match, I don't know what to say, because it's such a hard thing being invested in the Fiend character, because every time you're invested in it, for that short run that it was so good and was the best thing in the company, since then it has just been pounded down so hard to the point that it's like, how can you care about this character that just is like supposed to be this, like, I don't even know if he's magical or he's demonic or whatever. He's supposed to be a badass at the end of the day. Like, he's supposed to be this cool thing that a show can be built around. And they just keep having him lose. And then they kick him off TV for 4 months. And then, like, they give him the whole Alexa Bliss thing, which was interesting at first, but then again, he was off for 4 months. And how invested can you be in somebody who's not on TV?
Yeah.
They had something here. they had something here that was really good and was transcending WWE, was making people interested, and then they did the Hell in a Cell thing that everybody absolutely hated. And then they continuously
Goldberg.
just made him. Then they put him. Oh my God! Let's not forget about Goldberg and the Braun feud that absolutely nobody wanted.
Swamp fight.
Oh my! And then you have kicking him off TV for 4 months, losing to Randy Orton numerous times, coming back looking super cool, helping Alexa Bliss win. Then next pay-per-view loses because he's like looking at Alexa Bliss after eating a singular RKO after he was dropped onto the announce table and popped up like it was nothing.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense. They have
doesn't.
absolutely killed any momentum for this character.
And it's hard, like you said, it's hard to be a fan of The Fiend now because he just keeps losing. But I want to bring back both of your points because those were 2 points both you guys made that I wanted to bring up again. What was the meaning of this whole Alexa Bliss thing? And I'm going to start with Justin's point first of like that's the first thing I originally thought of what was Justin's point, which was Alexa Bliss has consumed his powers and she embraced his powers. And maybe that was like his powers running through her head. She couldn't contain all of them at once. So that was the powers coming out of her.
It was the black goo that we would see throughout with Randy, but we thought, oh, maybe that was just the Fiend screwing with him a little bit.
Yeah, but it could be his powers too. Maybe that's what his powers consist of. Like Captain America and his super soldier serum. Maybe that's his serum right there. You don't know. We don't know what story they're going to tell. But then I do want to go back to Jesse's point. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we spent a lot of time on this guy before Aleister Black. There were a couple of things pointing to the direction of Aleister Black, which is worth noting for a little bit just to make sure, we're not missing anything here. But I want to bring up the pentagram in the background. Very demonic pentagram, who's known for the demon stuff. Aleister Black. This is a tweet I found online, so I didn't come up with this stuff. Alexa, how is Alexa sitting? She was sitting crisscross applesauce, and who usually sits like that? Aleister Black does. And she had the black stuff coming out of her face. I guess you can call that black mass coming out of her face. Might be a big stretch here, but hey, I'm down for it if they go with it. But I don't think that's the way they're going. But it's just little hints and secrets, conspiracy theories about that.
Don't get me into it. Don't.
That was Randy. Hey, Raw's tonight. We're recording this before Monday Night Raw on April 12th. So
is Aleister Black even a Raw superstar? Does he have a brand?
I honestly don't know what brand he's on.
Let me look that up. Just curious.
Good luck trying to find it.
Yeah. I don't even know if he was a part of the draft. I don't
think he was. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I feel like he's Raw. I do feel like he's Raw. I feel like his feuds and programs last year revolved around the Raw brand more than anything. Trying to stall while Justin is.
We can move on to the next topic.
We can move on to the next topic, and that was
because it might take a while to find this.
The brotherly feud we had next, surrounded by YouTube sensation Logan Paul. We had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which was good. It was fine. Cute little match right there.
That's exactly how I would describe it. A cute little match.
Cute
at
little
the
match.
At the end of the match, I literally said that was a delightful little match.
Nice.
They did all the things.
They did the things. A couple good moves. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. You can never go wrong. Fine for me. Owens got the victory, which made me very happy. I'm the Owens fanboy here, so that made me very happy. And at the end of this match, Logan Paul gets in the ring and kind of congratulates Owens, and Sammy's pissed. And then Owens stuns Logan, who sold it very weirdly, but he did sell it indeed. So
yeah, this match was typically the Sammy Kevin Owens match we thought we were going to get. It was just a big question of who Logan Paul would be interacting with. And I'm more than happy that he got stunned because I'm not a Logan Paul fan or a Jake Paul. So
why not?
They're idiots. So the fact that one of them got stunned by Kevin Owens, I'm a big Kevin Owens fan. Also, Aleister Black, the only trace of anything of him being on any show is fourth paragraph in his bio after having to hit show me more a few times to expand it. After Seth Rollins injured his eye, Black unleashed a dark side, and he'll take his new attitude to SmackDown after being chosen by the Blue Brand during the 2020 WWE draft.
Or you just could have went on WWE.com like I just did and see his name under SmackDown, but
Oh, also, I'm on WWE.com right now, and it didn't load yet. But above his name, there's a big ass SmackDown logo. So
So he can't be on Raw.
So he can't be on Raw. He's on SmackDown. So cross that theory out for now.
Idiot.
Anyways, let's continue on with WrestleMania Night 2 and another cute little match in a way. Sheamus and Matt Riddle. Oh, my bad. Riddle. Not Matt Riddle.
What's a mat?
I don't know. Something you stomp your feet on. That's all I know.
Hey, it's all that matters. We got the RVD and Matt Riddle interaction beforehand.
God.
They
It
made
was
him
awesome.
lose.
Yes. The RVD rolling paper. You got those yet, Jesse, or no?
I looked at the prices. It's not terrible. You can get a signed RVD case and like a box of like 12 of them, and there's like 32 in there for like $200 or maybe $300 or something.
Wow.
But you're also getting the RVD signed thing.
That's
So
the thing.
that's cool.
Like getting
But no, this match
a
was
collector's
fine.
edition of a game for a hat.
If that came with a hat, an RVD hat with a nice leaf on it.
If it had an RVD signed hat,
That'd be
my
cool.
God, that'd be sweet.
That'd be cool.
No, this match was fine. I didn't love the end result. I felt like Riddle should have held on to the belt longer. I just don't know what does this win kind of do for Sheamus? You know,
I get that.
I mean, it kind of felt like here's a reward. You've been really good the past 5 months.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's the good soldier reward type of thing because he hasn't left WWE. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame
Fine.
by the time he retires.
Maybe
okay
I wouldn't be surprised if at WrestleMania Backlash Riddle takes it back.
Me
I'd
too.
actually really prefer that.
Well,
Me
it's
too.
just to give him
Maybe
a
even
moment.
do a multi-man match or something.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And just the big thing of this match was the Matt Riddle moonsault off the rope into a bro kick, which reminded me of Cole and Ricochet's thing from a couple of years ago.
Oh,
that was
Ricochet?
awesome. That was awesome. That was a phenomenal ending to the match, and it actually made it feel like, hey, Sheamus is legit. He beat this newcomer Riddle, and I'm okay with it. I'm not complaining about this. I thought it's fine. It's a mid card title changing. What are you gonna do?
You need title changes on Mania, and
Exactly.
this felt like one that they could have done.
Considering only one other title would have changed hands then in the Intercontinental on night 2. So yeah, the women's too. So yeah, they didn't necessarily need it.
They
but
didn't need it, yeah, but
it happened. But let's get into another title change, which was the Nigerian drum fight between Apollo Crews and Big E. Big E came out with Wale performing his new theme song, which was cool. That was the better live performance entrance of the night of the two.
Oh, by far. Oh, so much better.
That was awesome. I loved Big E's gear, which was the feeding Tampa Bay gear. When I first came out, I'm like, isn't that University of Miami's colors? I'm like, aren't they in Tampa? Like, is he confused? But then no, it said feeding Tampa Bay on it. So that was cool. A very nice touch to his gear there. Apollo came out, which wasn't a spear. It was a big stick he had this time. It wasn't a spear. It was a literal big stick like the other episodes I was talking about. So he came out with his big stick. And match was fine.
He didn't get hit with drums. It was just a street fight with drums.
Big E threw him into a drum at one point.
It was a gong.
His shoulder kind of tapped it.
They should just call it a Nigerian street fight, but drum fine, whatever.
Well, obviously, if you call it a Nigerian street fight, it sounds like it's happening in Nigeria.
But the ending was the more important part of it.
Yeah. Want to go ahead?
Oh no, you can. You're running the show
because you don't know the guy's name. That's why. Oh, it says it on the doc, anyways. But
read that? No.
But Apollo.
He's from Raw Underground. He finally found his way out of the Amway Center.
Out of the underground.
Dabakato, formerly known as Babatunde, is helping Apollo Crews. Yeah, exactly. And that a cool ending. It didn't make Big E look weak at all, which is fine. Helped Apollo Crews get a little crony with him to help him out.
You know what this means? Big E's winning the Intercontinental belt back at Backlash.
I think this is the start of Big E getting into the main event picture.
Hey, you stole that idea from me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jesse. You can say it now.
I said that last week or whenever we did it. Big E I predicted Big E to lose the IC belt because they need people in the main event, especially if there's no way Edge, Roman, and Bryan are all just going to run it back at Backlash. I mean, they could, but I think that's a huge mistake. I think Edge probably disappears for a little while at least. Bryan probably goes away for a little while. And then you really have Cesaro, Big E, and Seth Rollins kind of set up for the next like 3 or so pay-per-views.
That can set up a couple good months. That's fine. But that was fine. Cool. Happy for Apollo Crews because he won a U.S. title. I would say that was his first title.
Oh, he held the U.S. title
right.
with the Hurt Business feud
for months.
But hey, Apollo Crews is now halfway to being a Grand Slam champion. Look at that.
Does he get it?
No.
It took him this long to get here. So
no, but good for him. He got the new gimmick. And he is making it work. Apparently, they must have liked a little bit of it or something.
To give him some muscle, yeah, they're invested in it too.
Great stuff there. Can't complain at all again. And here we go. Raw Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Like I said, there were 2 musical performances for entrances, and this one didn't
sucked.
work.
It was bad.
It was really bad.
This is up there with Joan Jett playing Ronda Rousey.
Joan Jett was good.
On TV, it sounded brutal. I know not all of us can have the deep pockets like you can, Clark, to
deep pockets.
Go out to WrestleManias time in and time again. But it was brutal. To quote the song, it was. Oh boy, she was just screaming.
It's not a song you perform live at WrestleMania.
No.
Put it that way. It's not. It's screaming. It's screaming. This is my brutality. That's all it is, over and over again. Like it wasn't good. I would have heard that Edge's song played, Metalingus by Alter Bridge. That would have been phenomenal.
The beginning, when it was the screaming part, was god awful. When they hit the chorus a little bit, it was a little more tolerable, but it was bad. And usually the people who get the musical entries like, they're gonna win. This is awesome. Then it's like, oh my god, this is terrible. She might actually lose because this is who signed off on this.
And
because
this is nothing against the singer too. She's a legit singer. It's just a song.
It's just not. You can't perform that live.
Did she sing the normal version?
Probably as much as she could. They probably didn't have time to set a band up or speakers or anything.
No. I'm saying like the non-live version, right? Like the normal Rhea Ripley.
It's her, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, but let's get on to the match because
there's certain music that needs to be produced more.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This happens to be one of those.
Not everyone can be, Limp Bizkit screaming live.
Yeah, there's just so many other choices that you could have. You could have had voices played again if you wanted somebody. You could have had Edge for doing Metalingus. There's others out there, but this wasn't the one. Plus, that just proves again that wrestling songs need actual lyrics. But anyways, the match was fine. I didn't mind it. I thought it was fantastic. Rhea Ripley got the win. Phenomenal win for Rhea Ripley. Already putting her atop the very weak women's division. So I'm very happy for Rhea Ripley. And I have no complaints about the match.
So with Asuka losing, does this kind of end the mystique of the Asuka character being like the unstoppable force type of... Because considering Ripley, no, but I'm saying this kind of puts the final nail in it. Considering Ripley literally came in, said I want a match, and then beat her.
I would say no.
Asuka consistently always just beats B-list wrestlers when she's champ. That's kind of her thing. Yeah. Asuka again I've said this numerous times. Asuka is only champ when Becky or Charlotte aren't there or are on different brands or something. If one of the 4 horsewomen need to not be present for Asuka to get a push. And then as soon as they find a wrestler that they like more than Asuka, they just have her lose to them.
I don't think it ruins the mystique. I think Asuka is still going to be at the top of the women's division for a good while now. She lost. She held the belt since June. She held it for 10 months, and she held it a long time. It was just time for a change, I thought. And Rhea Ripley, a fresh, young talent, and it makes Rhea look great. Asuka still looks fine because... Asuka can come up with the thing that, hey, I'd never seen this before. I don't know who you are, and I was prepared, or some crappy wrestling story.
The thing that sucks is that Asuka never wins at Mania. She literally always loses at Mania. She's never once had a Mania moment where it's like, oh, Asuka wins.
Sasha's 0 for 6 at Mania,
and Sasha's your favorite and one of the best women.
And when you think about
absolutely, but Sasha didn't have 2 undefeated streaks that ended up losing pretty much at Mania.
It's because almost they're better in promoting the next wrestler and getting them over in a loss than they would in a win.
I agree, but I also think I think that fits Sasha better than it fits Asuka. Like I just feel like Asuka should be used a little bit differently than she actually is. And that's
That's
just
fair.
been my conflict with it since she was moved up to the main roster. Because even when she is the champion, it's like CM Punk syndrome. It's like even when she is the champion, even when she is supposed to be the biggest deal in the women's division, she never really is. And she hasn't been except since NXT. When she was in NXT, she felt like she was the whole damn division. Like, we felt that way about Io Shirai recently. Asuka did that first.
Yeah, no, I agree. But at the end of the day, Rhea Ripley is the Raw Women's Champion, and just it feels like a new era now in the women's division. It's kind of I've seen this on Twitter a couple times. It reminds you of the WrestleMania where Cena and Batista both won their respective world titles. It's like a new era. You have Bianca and Rhea. They're going to run the division for many, many years now. Both pretty young. I know Bianca's in her early 30s and Rhea's 24 years old, which is ridiculous. But a new era in the women's division. You don't got to rely on the four horsewomen all the time now, which is kind of like the new era. Like it was Cena and Batista. You don't have to rely on the Rocks and Stone Cold anymore. Like you got these new guys coming in and very exciting stuff there. So I'm very happy for Rhea Ripley. Big fan. But now let's get into the main event, the triple threat match for the Universal title. Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Edge. And it was a very, very good match. It was a big fight feel, which I felt like I haven't had for WrestleMania in quite a while now. It really felt like a big fight match was happening, a big, legit main event. Like within the last, I'd say, 10 years, it felt like one of the biggest to me, honestly. And Roman Reigns was victorious. It was a good match. A lot of great spots here and there. The table spots, the spear spots, the concertos, the double submission spots. I really, really, really like this match.
The match was awesome, especially with the double submission on Roman, where it was the crossface into the yes lock. And then at one point when Edge kind of looked at Daniel Bryan, it's like, okay, we both have him. What the hell do we do if he taps? What are we doing here? Who gets the win?
Yeah.
Jey Uso got involved a little too much for my liking, personally.
See, I liked the beginning of him getting involved. When he came back, I didn't like it.
That was the annoying part, because when he came back, it's like, okay, kind of know where this is going.
That's how they had to save Roman. That was kind of the only way that they could have saved him, was with Jey Uso.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth with the Jey Uso thing. It's like, yeah, did I love it? No. But also it plays into the gimmick perfectly because Jey Uso has gotten involved in every single thing that Roman has done, period. He's gotten involved in every single main event that there's been.
Yeah, and he did it once again, getting involved twice and getting his behind kicked both times, coming in.
If this is Daniel Bryan's last WrestleMania match, or at least as a main eventer on a full-time schedule, it's one hell of a way to go out.
100%.
It's very memorable. All three of them had a good shot at winning each time. I think they all got a fair amount of offense in. It wasn't necessarily a squash match all towards Roman. It wasn't Edge who was taking cheap shots with chairs and getting desperate, and while Daniel Bryan was trying to fight clean on his own. It was just a good match all around. And I loved when Edge used the bar from the chair that came out of just Roman's eyes popping out. And that's when Daniel Bryan came in and stopped him from tapping out.
Yeah. No, great match, great spots, and the pin is the biggest thing in this match because in triple threat matches, you don't have to be pinned to lose the title. You only got to pin one guy; the other guy could be counted out. And Roman just put all like the haters down and everything.
Now, technically, Edge was on top of
Bryan,
but
his shoulders were still
down
on the floor. Yeah, Roman made sure to do that
because that was.
Yeah. No, you're right. But there was a tweet from Charles Robinson today, who came in while the other ref got knocked out, who said 4 shoulders were on the mat. Roman was on top of both and in charge. It's my discretion, and that is the final call.
Yeah. So Roman delivers in WrestleMania flat out.
Yeah.
And he did it again.
Since the Brock one. The Brock one's bad. I stand by that. The Brock match
34?
is really bad. Yeah.
I agree.
The one where he gets real bloody and yeah, no, that one's bad.
31 was good. 31.
Yeah, 34 was not. 34 was real
32, 33, 34 weren't too hot because it was Triple H, Undertaker, Brock, and those where he had to try to put over the dead guys, which is hard to carry the old geezers there. But no, I enjoyed this a lot.
Roman more so than anybody else has that Brock type feel to him where he feels box office. He feels big. He feels like even when Cena was the face of the company, you know, Cena was still main eventing every single thing, but it never felt like bigger than that. When Roman comes out, it just feels like a big deal because it's so unquestioned that he is the best thing in WWE. He is the biggest thing in WWE. And everything he touches, like he has said, turns to gold. And it's true. You bought the shirt. You know what it means.
Yeah.
It's very Conor McGregor-esque in UFC. Obviously now Conor McGregor gets his ass kicked every once in a while and loses. That happens. It's not scripted like WWE. Yeah. But they get me to buy his fights when he fights. I'll buy the fight in July when it's the third match between him and Poirier.
Yeah, and are you going to buy other UFC fights? I know I'm not.
No,
but I
only buy him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When McGregor comes out, it's a big fight feel. When Roman comes out, it feels legit and it's a big fight. We've kind of seen like, you know, they tried to run it with Brock. Hey, he's a prize fighter, and that's why he only shows up a little bit. Roman has that prize fighter feel, and he does it every week.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He wrestles mostly on pay-per-views now because he has Jey Uso fight the other fights for him. But every week,
there.
He's going to give you that good promo. He's going to give you something, or Paul Heyman's going to give you something, or Jey Uso's going to give you something that it just feels like, yeah, Roman runs this. Like Roman is WWE right now. And it's so much better. And don't get me wrong, I was the biggest Cena fan as a kid. Yeah. I loved Cena. But this feels bigger because Cena was like, oh, you know, I'm just humble to be here. And I love WWE and I just do it for WWE. And Roman's like, I'm here because you guys need me and because I'm the show.
It's ultimate
about
mercenary act.
Me.
It's a new era as the face of the company because usually the face of the company is the top baby face, but now we got a heel as the top guy in the company. So it's a very, very new era. And as we can tell, we're
my hat is off to WWE because they listened. They did. They did it in a way that we didn't even think we were going to get because they waited until this man beat leukemia and then had to disappear because of COVID. And then they brought him back
with the most slimy manager.
As the heel character that everybody wanted. And they did it at the time that they could have gotten away with keeping him as a face.
I love it. I love it.
Last note for me is this match, because of Roman and all of them, obviously, saved night 2. Because night 2 would have been very forgettable.
Once again, with night 1 and night 2, very similar. They started pretty bad, but it did gradually get better as the night went on. And this was my match of night 2.
Oh, obviously.
Favorite match, probably favorite match of the weekend, too.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Great match. Let's get some ratings really quickly. I'm giving this, what did I give that one? A 7? I'm going to give this a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5.5 just because outside of the main event, the majority of the matches were lackluster. And what could have been the Fiend Randy Orton match, it fell flat, and that's big strike on the resume for it. So 5.5 for me.
Yeah. Give me a 6.
Okay.
I think the main event alone is worth probably like 4 or 5.
It was awesome.
The main event was fantastic. It was so good.
And it was one of the few times a heel champion goes in, retains, and walks out with the belt too.
Thank you, Roman. Thank you, Roman, because you helped me win, baby.
He did. It was up to that match. It was either me or you who would win that.
He's the head of the table for you too.
Show up, win.
And really quickly, I know we're a couple months out right now, but this is a 60 out of 100 to score, but we're a couple months out. I just want to get your world title matches, the men and the women for SummerSlam. We're
All four of them?
Out. Yeah.
Four. Becky versus Rhea.
Becky versus Rhea is also mine.
I'm going to go Charlotte Rhea.
Okay. SmackDown Women's now.
I was going to go... Let's go Bailey, Bianca.
I'm going Bailey, Bianca, Sasha, triple threat.
I think Bailey, Bianca is going to be Money in the Bank. I think I'm going out on a limb. I think Becky comes back maybe for one match. Bianca beats her.
Okay.
Bianca, Becky.
Universal, I'm going to go with, give me Roman, Big E.
Give me Roman Seth, because Seth is Mr. SummerSlam.
I'm also going to go with Roman Seth. I think that's the way they're going to.
Seth always has fantastic SummerSlams.
And WWE title.
Bobby Lashley versus Braun.
Bobby Lashley versus Drew versus Brock in a triple threat.
Ooh, Brock comes back. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to go Bobby Lashley versus Drew outright.
Just a rematch?
I think they do a rematch at WrestleMania Backlash. Then I think Drew goes off and does something else. Maybe Drew wins Money in the Bank and then says, I'm cashing in at SummerSlam.
Could very much happen, but we're far from SummerSlam. But thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Sports Department Podcast. Make sure you guys follow our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Sports Depth Pod. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We're back to doing normal sports, so stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.